How old were your grandparents? Did your grandparents live? Because I know
My grandparents all died when I was in high school or elementary school.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but also perfect.
Why?
Because they stay these like...
perfect people.
Mama and Pipa. And
It's
they used to...
Yayo.
Oh, wow. Are you Greek? Yeah.
That was what they said in Spain and Catalonia. They say yaya and yayo.
Oh, they do? I thought that was
Greek.
I thought yaya was
It might be
Greece.
It might be both, but in
It might be a European. Yeah.
in Barcelona.
You don't call her your abuela?
Abuela? No, because we didn't speak Spanish. They spoke mostly Catalan.
Oh, I forgot that Catalan is different than...
And then my sister and I called my American grandparents Yaya and Yayo, and they were like, huh?
No, it's Grandpa Jack and Grandma Mary.
So it would be like, Spanish would be like Yaya and Yayo, and then American side would be like Yaya and Yayo.
Yeah, it just sounds like you're making fun of him. Got a bunch of yayos in here. He goes, I fought in Korea.
Yeah.
Give me some goddamn respect.
You're my Yayo.
Hey, Yayo's here. but them dying, I would honestly say, highly recommend your grandparents die under the age of 15. Because then
to keep them special,
keeps them. It's like Christmas never changed.
But
It's
see,
like it keeps Santa alive forever. When you're Yayo is like an
Yayo.
old nice guy that you kind of you know what, you want your grandparents to die when you can barely remember seeing the blue veins in their hands.
Oh yes.
But before they turn translucent like iguanas, like old people in their 80s and 90s, you don't want them. You want them to die when they're like just becoming old.
Well, that's what I have this friend who says that about her parents because her parents died in her 20s.
Yeah.
And mine are still alive. And I'll complain about how they're aging, they're ill, they don't remember stuff, I have to take care of them. And she will be like, well, that's why I'm so glad mine are dead.
Yeah.
And
There
I'm like,
is not enough people need to bring up, and I think everyone with a dead parent young understands this, but we don't speak about it. There's a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
I haven't had to worry about a Father's Day in 26 years.
Does that day like strike you? Like, are you sad that day?
Sure did in 98 and 99.
Yeah, but then you're over it.
2021.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's Father's Day. I'm just trying to think about gay jokes to make on Twitter when everyone's posting pictures of their dad.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about how I want to suck off their fathers.
Do you feel more liberated? Because someone also told me, like, I feel even more free to do anything. And I'm like... There's
always a level of sadness with losing a parent, but there is this, like...
And I'm not wanting mine to die. I'm just saying.
Sounds kind of like you are. It kind of sounds like you're wishing death now.
I'm just wondering what the next chapter is going to be like.
It is. There's like the sadness and the grief, yada, yada, yada. When you go through it young, you have so much time to deal with it.
Yeah.
That I think it like, now I can look at it this crass.
Yeah.
And be like, nah, it's a benefit. Like Christmas, there's only one gifts for one parent.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, now I got the in-laws, but I'm like, you know, growing up, you're like, all right, take care of mom at Christmas, throw grandma some flowers, send her a poinsettia.
Done.
But grandparents, when they die, when you're young,
yeah,
they do stay. Watching my grandmother get to 96 has been horrible. And I wish she would have died 20 years ago.
Wait, is she still alive?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Not good. But if she would have died 20 years ago when I was 20, oh, my sweet Nana. Love gin rummy. Oh,
if she's not a sweet Nana
go
now.
40. No, now you're like, yo.
Annoying Nana?
No, now it's sad. Now it's turned into like, for the love of God, take her to your take her into your kingdom. Like there's a lot of like, let her in, Lord. Cause it's so sad when you get listen, she had her facilities up until about a year and a half ago. Once those start going, you're like, oh, it's like looking after a plate of Jell-O.
Yeah.
It's just like soft and worrisome, and you're just like, no. Back to the Spanish stuff.
Okay.
So your mom teaches you and your sister how to speak Spanish.
Yes, and my dad teaches us how to speak English, but they just can't really speak to each other.
Were they never? Was your mom ever fluent in English?
No, I mean, she is now a million years later, but she and my dad met and they married after 4 dates, so they barely spoke.
Where did they meet?
in Barcelona.
Damn.
I know, it was
Was
romantic. He was in the military on a boat on one of those military ships. And I just did my Spanish special in the bar where they met.
Really?
Yes, it's still there.
Is it up on YouTube?
That one's on a Spanish streamer.
I love that. That's a smart idea.
But I'm going to put it on YouTube because I want to get the Latinos.
Yeah.
I want my Latinos to check it out.
Yeah, you got to have people that speak Spanish to it because that's a really cool concept.
Thank you.
To do it at the bar.
Yes.
Also, you're like, your parents' story was like, I feel like one of those made up military stories where it was like, well, I was in the Navy and I went and I saw a beautiful Spanish woman.
Who I couldn't speak to.
She's like, what? It's so funny to think their dates were like, what?
¿Qué?
¿Qué? And you're like, pointing, is this comida?
Sí.
Like, food? We always do this with food, like they're fucking apes. Food.
But then my mom was with her Spanish friend who did speak English.
So there was a translator.
So there was a matchmaker. There was a matchmaker.
He says, she says, why you should give me money. And he goes, well, that's fair.
Yo quiero un anillo. Primero.
Yeah, dude.
Anillo.
I am absolutely one of those whites that'll just believe anything. Someone goes like, he says, do this. And I go, well, of course.
Yeah.
Of course you should. So they met in this bar while your dad was just docked?
Just docked with all the military guys in his uniform. So it was literally West Side Story.
Was he in the Navy?
Navy.
That white uniform.
Yes.
It's a clean uniform.
Yeah, that's pretty hot.
Yeah, they come in looking,
Yeah.
Looking like little butlers, little sea butlers that'll destroy you with a missile.
But like more of like the nerdy intellectual type.
Yeah, out of all the uniforms, the Navy looks like it's like, because it's white. You're like, you don't want to get dirty.
Yeah.
Like you got the Marines, they're in the tan or like the little.
No, these guys were kind of the intellectual.
So he shows up and this is in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
And they meet in this bar.
Yes.
And then he's like, you want to come back to the States?
He's like talking to her. She's like not a bad girl. She doesn't do things.
She's Catholic.
And he is too.
Oh, so they got to go ask for a saint's blessing. What's the saint? What is the saint in the Catholic religion of taking a lady from her homeland?
I don't know if there is one. There's
Saint
a saint
Vincenzo.
For
He's like, Saint Vincenzo is the displacement saint.
There must be a saint, but they went out and she met him again. He said, would you like to come to the party on the ship? And she's like, I'm not that kind of girl. So she said no. She said no.
And what was it, like a ship dance?
It was like a ship thing.
I always love that there's an idea that they're having a dance next to a whole fleet of missiles. They're like, yeah. Someone's country's not going to be around next week.
You want to see my missile?
Yeah. Do you want to dance to some Beatles? yeah.
No, but she was very like, you don't mess with me. I don't take advantage of me kind of thing.
And your dad's from Western New York.
He's from upstate New York, Elmira.
Okay.
A very small town, both very small towns.
Really? So your mom was not from Barcelona?
Not from Barcelona. Very small town outside of Barcelona.
Okay.
And then in about a year and a half, they went out 4 times. So I would say how does that work? How do they go out 4 times in a year? She's still in Barcelona. So he's like, nice to meet you. No, he's like, back on my ship. Goodbye. And then his ship comes back in like 3 months.
Oh, and he's just like...
And they write each other letters. But like letters.
And I'm sorry to be disrespectful.
Tell me.
But this is a genuine question.
Yes.
Is it not insane that there was a moment in time where guys were jerking off to letters? Like, where a guy would get a letter? Because that's why they always do the perfume thing, where they go like, oh, it smells like a perfume. But you're jacking it to the letter, right?
But also you're jacking it to a letter
you're like, that has... just jerking off to reading?
That doesn't have words because they don't talk to each other.
I didn't even think about that.
Stick figures?
Yeah, what is it, drawings?
You're jacking the drawings.
How did they communicate?
How weird is that? What is that, Jack?
So this is what I want to do to you. It's like this diagram.
How did she at drawing though?
How did they communicate via letter?
I mean, I've asked this is $1 million question. I've asked this question 1 million times. My parents live in Virginia. There is a storage facility.
They're
still married. There's a storage facility with those letters.
I am
not allowed to read them.
Really?
So I have to wait, if you know what I mean. I have to wait.
Oh, I know.
And I'm straight to the storage facility.
Okay, I'm so glad you brought this up. This just reminded me of something.
And I'm calling Martin Scorsese, and he's making a movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna have to call the guy that did The Notebook, unless one of your parents is gonna kill Scorsese. Tends to go violent.
It'll be a 3-hour movie with Leonardo DiCaprio as my dad.
Still might want to do that. There is nothing better than going through embarrassing shit of your parents after they're dead.
Yeah.
Because if there is an afterlife, that they're on the other side of the window being like, no. You don't understand what I was going through.
Yes.
My grandmother broke her hip. She's in a facility. My cousin and I went to her townhouse and we're going through stuff. I have a new joke about it because we found something insane that I talk about on stage, but we also went through my grandmother kept everything, pictures, birthday cards, everything. My dad married his high school sweetheart.
Wow.
Had a baby. That was my sister, my half sister, right? And then they got divorced. And then years later, my dad met my mom. So there was years, 7, 8 years before my dad and my mom met. That he was just a guy. We're going through stuff, and my cousin's like, hey, I found a letter your dad wrote your grandma. And I was like, well, let me read it. And because there were no emails, there were no nothing. Right. This was correspondence. So I'm reading it, and this is after by the way, I'm friends with my mom, my sister's mom.
Okay.
She came out to the Portland show. She was like, she's great. Billy rules. And I love her son, Don, who is my sister's other half brother. We're not related. Okay. But I'm cool with that whole family. I would say I'm cooler with Billy and Don than I am with my own dad's family, outside of my cousin. Like, my dad's family wasn't good. So I'm reading this letter, and this is like a year after he's left her. They've divorced.
Yeah.
I got to read a letter where my dad was pussy whipped by another woman, and it was the funniest thing I've ever read in my life, because he was like, because I've been that way, and now that I'm 40, I can like read something of his and be like, dude, you were a 23-year-old pussy whipped kid. But also, is the language different? Is it Leave It to Beaver-ish? Yes. Because what he's saying is, he's not like, oh, the dome is unbelievable. He's not like, oh, I hit it from the back and it just makes me rethink life. Yes. He's not talking like that. He keeps saying, I wish I want to text my cousin Lisa because she knows the name, because we were making fun of it on the drive home. Because I would randomly make fun of my dad on the drive home by being, I want to say her name was Charlotte, or like something like Sharon or something. But he's like, oh, mom, I know what love is now. Yeah, he's like, I know what love is because of Charlotte. She's shown me who I am and what I could be. And I'm like, you're 23. I'm looking at the time. Right. You're pussy whipped. This is just rebound pussy. Yes. You're talking... You're drunk on rebound pussy, and you're acting like it's this life lesson where he goes, oh, but she's shown me. He had this line one time, and I just know this because one time I dated a girl years ago when Jay and I first started the bonfire. I dated a girl, and I was so high on her that I went to the bonfire and I said this sentence, and Jay will confirm it. I went, she's so good at telling stories. And Jay was smoking, and he goes, oh my God. Jay was smoking, and he goes, I bet she's not. Like, that's how he reacted. He goes, I bet she's not. And I caught that moment, and I was like, that moment was so solidified for me, because I knew I was whipped. Right. That reading my dad's language, I'm like, he's whipped. But he said at one point, he goes, you know, sometimes Charlotte will tell me things, and even though it makes me mad, I know she's right, and I know it's to make me better. I was like, ugh. Yeah, you need to find the letters like a year and a half later. He's like, that crazy bitch. That crazy bitch was hiding under my bed. Yes. Yeah, it's all stuff like that. Her stories suck. Oh my God. Oh, you need to do this. I don't need to do this. Shut the fuck up, Charlotte. But it was funny seeing your parents like that. So when your parents die, you get to unlock the mystery. I gotta unlock the mystery. I gotta find the box with the letters, and they never talk about those letters with my sister and I, but then my nieces, that's the next generation, so they're more open to the grandkids. Well, they're probably also your sister's kids. They're probably fairy tailing it. Like, now that it's a little more distance, you can kind of give it more of like an urban legend, like, oh, your grandpa and I love each other. So,
you know,
like in a way we're like, I was promised to another man, but
I love your Spanish accent.
but he kept turning his ship around. And you're like, he jumped off the side of the ship. They could lie. They could straight up lie.
Yeah.
You know when they do movies based on true stories and it's always fucking wild?
Always,
That's what they're doing to your niece.
Well, it's funny because my niece goes, where are these letters? And my mom's like, they're in a storage facility, you know, on the second floor or whatever. And I was like, thanks for telling me.
Gotcha.
Thanks for asking. Ask her more questions because she won't tell me.
Ask her what the split is when she dies. Can we get some numbers on paper here?
But you're right about the fantasy because I grew up thinking like, no joke, this is not even a joke, is that you could date someone 4 times and fall in love.
Not at all.
And I was like, I believed it. I was like, oh my God, if I'm with you for like 6 months, you're the wrong guy.
They're also like, that generation, the boomer generation, it's different because like they didn't know about therapy. They didn't know that you could actually chase your dreams.
Totally.
Because when you talk to them, they go like, why, when I was a kid, my parents said I could do whatever I wanted. I could be president. That's always the thing. President. No one could ever be like, you know, you can be a talk show host. You know, you can do this. Where like now everyone is like, you can be an influencer. It's like the reverse of what our parents grew up with.
Well, even in Spain, my mom was like, you either had to be a nurse, a teacher, or what was the third thing? A social worker.
Yeah, those are all brazzers things now. Yeah. Those are all just things on porn where like you can be a lady that's stuck in a child's home. You can be a lady that's stuck in a dryer. You can be a lady, it's all stuck porn. You can be a stepsister to a really hot guy. And you guys can't touch each other, but your parents are gone. And it's a wet and wild weekend. But you're right. They had like 3 options.
That's all they had.
They had 3 options. I think, and this is me trying to be positive angel's advocate, not a devil's advocate. Maybe your mom's friend would read the letters in English to your mom, and then maybe she would translate the Spanish for your mom. Maybe.
Could be.
I think those letters are going to show how big of a part your mom's friend that spoke English was. Does she address her by name? Does she ever say who that friend was?
There have been mixed stories that it was one of her sisters or that it was just a friend.
Because that's a massive part. If you don't speak Spanish and she doesn't speak English, that's a massive thing that someone needs to bridge.
Right.
So it's either your aunt who made the whole thing happen,
right,
or it's a friend who maybe added some sentences, zhuzhed it up a little in English or Spanish, gave it some flair to make your dad look better or your mom look better.
But what made the relationship last a year and a half, where the 4th time he's like, I'm coming with a ring.
Damn.
I'm coming with a ring and we're getting married.
In Spain?
In Spain. And then I'm taking this woman with me.
How much preparation did she have knowing... Because she's nobody going to take her on the USS Minneapolis. Like, what the fuck? You can't just, like, stow away her. Or they're like... They're like, you know, Private Lynch, who the hell is this Spanish woman? And she's like, this my love.
That was hard for my mom's parents. Who the hell are you going with?
On an aircraft carrier?
There's plenty of Spanish hombres here.
You got a lot of hombres.
You got to take this tall, mysterious man?
Yeah, they were probably mad if she would have moved to the Canary Islands. They're like, that's crazy far away. And he's like, no, we're going across the Atlantic.
We're going to Georgia.
Georgia?
We're going to Georgia.
Was that where you were born?
My sister. And then they moved again, California. And then it was me.
You got the California energy.
I got California.
Where were you born in California?
Monterey.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Shout out. It's enough of the Bay Area. You can rep the Niners if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, if I cared.
Go Niners. Bang, bang, Niner gang. You could tell it's playoff season. Everything is about the 49ers. I'm all... And then the 49ers. A letter from a lady that doesn't even speak the language?
That doesn't speak the language.
Damn, how hot was your mom when she was young?
I mean, I'll show you pictures. She's pretty hot. And
it's crazy. The sea is lonely, and your mom must have been smoking hot.
Mom was hot.
That guy's staring out at seagulls and then thinking of a Spanish lady.
But then also, doesn't a guy kind of like a lady who's like, yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Why do you think so many men are into Japanese women that are just docile and submissive?
And
there's guys out there. There are guys out there that love that shit.
Yeah.
And then there's guys like me that grew up where you're like, what do you do? You know, you want that with a woman. You're like, oh, sometimes the way you talk your shit.
But there is that Spanish temper. There's a Spanish passion.
Yeah. I think your parents are leaving out convenient things. I think you just hit it. The passion. There had to have been something, a kiss, you know, something that like your dad was like, I'm fucking going back there and I'm marrying her.
I'm getting that lady.
And I'm bringing her. How big was your mom's family in Spain?
Pretty big. She's one of 6.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So for them, brothers?
3 brothers.
Older?
A couple older, a couple younger.
Yeah, you got to be. That's scary.
Yeah,
because you're going in there. That's a big family from a rural place in a foreign country, and you're taking their hottest commodity.
Right.
To Georgia.
Here's the other thing. My mom met my dad, you know, through these military, like through this ship, right? So she met the other guys as well.
Damn, it was like The Bachelor, but with...
So they were all telling her, including the captain, my dad's boss, that Mike's a good man.
That's a good.
So she's getting references. She's getting references
in a language she doesn't understand. She keeps going. Oh, see.
Oh no.
See.
Oh, see.
Everyone's go. You know, like what the things they're telling them. Now, if she would have known English, she would have been like, I don't know. He's like, you know what? He never hits a woman in the face, and that's a good thing.
Always from the neck down.
When he punishes a woman, it's a gut punch like a good man, unless she's carrying his child, in which case it's a back slap to let her know not to do that again. And she's like, see.
¿Está bien?
¿Está bien? Oh, sí.
But anyway, so when I started dating, my mom had no concept of what it was like to date.
She goes, where's your man on the ship?
Exactly. It was like given to her on a platter.
Dude, that's wild. So that tells me your mom was top 3 percentile hot of the people she hung out with, because the rules for hots do not apply to us regular folks.
Yeah.
And what I mean is that's a 4-date marry, you're still married. She was the hottest commodity. And your dad was the best guy.
I mean, when I look at them...
Someone Don King that. Someone was like, he's extrubious, he's traveled versus the hottest woman that Spain has ever seen. Yes. There has never been a fire. What's your mom's name?
Montserrat.
All right. Fuck it. That's so Spanish. I can't even repeat that.
Montserrat.
I mean, your dad was watching the sun go down over the ocean holding a letter to his chest going, Montserrat. Like,
Montserrat. I love it.
That's
Montserrat.
How hot. Your mom was so hot.
I'm going to show you pictures.
Yeah, I believe it.
But anyway, so when I started dating, my mom goes, can't you date someone with references? I'm not kidding. Who know this man to make sure he's a good man? I go, we can't all meet commanders on a ship.
Your dad was a commander?
I mean, eventually, but not when
he was on his way on the up and up.
Yeah.
So some of those soldiers were talking so they can get some extra, fucking R&R and stuff. I think some of those people were greasing the wheels with your dad, being like, hey, Spanish lady, Mike's great. I want to spend a little more leave time here in Spain. Like to your dad, they go, come on, dude, I got you the hottest girl in the bar.
Yes.
Let me go get hammered. Let me go to Portugal. God. I want to watch bulls kill a guy.
This is great for the movie.
I mean, this is unbelievable. I'm blown away by old school because it lasted. I hope you're enjoying the episode. February 17th, I am at the Wilbur in Boston. There are 2 shows. First show sold out. Second show, tickets are available. dansoder.com. And then Cleveland Hilarities, February 22nd through the 24th. All at dansoder.com. Let's get back to that episode. What a barn burner. If your parents would have been divorced, my parents broke up when I was 5.
Yeah.
Big deal.
But I mean, besides love, you got to remember Catholics till death do us part.
I mean, my mom, like I said, my mom was raised Irish Catholic, and then she got married in college, and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And it was a very, how she tells me, very adult, hey, this didn't work. Bye Rick, bye Trish. They went their own way, but my mom was Catholic. She was excommunicated.
Yeah.
So she was done in the Catholic religion.
Right.
That's why I'm Episcopalian. Because it literally is Catholicism with divorce.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
The King of England was like, I want to get divorced.
Right.
But I'm Catholic.
Yeah.
So I'll make up a new religion. Episcopalians, baby. That's why we're here.
Right.
So when you start dating, your mom's just expecting a guy in a crisp military suit to write you letters all the time.
Well,
and shit.
she thinks it's going to happen just like that. I mean, I went about a year without talking to them.
Oh,
I went about a year without, and then I wrote my parents a letter
in Spanish that your dad couldn't read. You're like, this is just for one of you.
And that's when I said, I'm in therapy. I can't talk to you. You're ruining my life right now. And my mom, that's when my mom wrote back, don't you ever tell us to try therapy.
Wow.
Don't you ever try to tell us. And my dad tried to fix me by saying, let's do group therapy so we can. And I was like, if you need therapy, you go.
Shout out to your dad, though, for at least trying to get some involvement in the therapy.
But he wanted to fix,
Also, but I think old marriages like that are held together because there is no therapy.
I would absolutely agree.
I think the ones that went the distance, there's a reason. They didn't go to a couples therapist.
Yeah, are you kidding? If they went now, things would break.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's brittle.
Yeah, it's brittle.
Yeah.
But what finally happened is that I did military tours.
USO.
And my dad was like, we're fine now.
Really?
That totally made him realize,
you paid your penance.
You're going to Iraq to perform for the troops?
Did you start in New York?
Yes.
People don't realize this. The special Queef Week is out on YouTube right now. You are...
on Mark Norman's channel.
On Mark Norman's channel. Comedy. You are one of those people that I've always been like, is so consistently funny. And your jokes are always so well constructed. And then you talk to you and you're like, oh yeah, you've been through it all. Like... There's people that are good in comedy that get good quick and they don't necessarily have to learn how to write jokes because they're kind of like, I'm a personality. This is what I do. But then you see people where you're like, they've been in the game a while and they've gotten really good at it's like when they talk about fundamentals on an athlete where they're like, their fundamentals are off the charts. There's a very small group of people that I would say that you can watch and go like, they're fun. We just had Chad Daniels on the podcast. Chad Daniels is one of those guys where you're like, the fundamentals are so out of control on you that everything you do outside of that is just extra because your jokes are so good. But like when I watched Queef Week, I was like, all these bits are so good because they're just like, you're writing jokes. And I love that shit. But you could tell that you came up in New York.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, because you can like... Because I did 2 years in Tucson, but I had to completely restart when I moved here.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, everyone's got like jokes. Like they've got jokes.
Yeah.
Like everything has a purpose.
Well, I didn't know I was going to do stand-up. I moved to New York to pursue acting, and then I fell into stand-up, and I was like, oh my God, what's this? And then just fell in love with the idea of a joke. So
you didn't have a preconceived notion of coming here to do stand-up?
No, I didn't even follow comedians. People were like Lenny Bruce, and I was like, who's that? Like,
oh, really?
I
was one of those open mic
one.
nerds that would have gotten so mad. I'd have been like, you mean you don't even know Bill Hicks's Rant in E minor? And you'd be like, no. And I'd be like, what about Nick Swartzen's First Comedy Central Presents? And you like never saw it. I'd be like, ugh.
But that made me feel so behind.
And let me tell you right now, as one of those guys, I'm sorry. Because I didn't realize how lame I was being. Because like I was, when you're a big comedy nerd and you get into comedy, you care too much.
But I was so jealous of every comic I met in New York was like, yeah, my dad used to listen to, George Carlin records. And I'm like, I could ask my dad right now who George Carlin was, and he would be confused.
What was your entertainment in the house?
Spanish music.
That's so funny. You go, I like the B guy.
Julio Iglesias
Dude,
and 60 Minutes.
That's so funny.
I mean, you go,
I'm sorry,
comedy.
I'm a morally safer girl. I like a good, give me a breakdown from Andy Rooney at the end.
Yes.
All your stand-up goes, you know what I don't like? Doors. Why are they there?
But there was no comedy in our house.
At all.
No, it was... we would watch Saturday Night Live.
Standard. Everyone did.
But even when I saw like Seinfeld and Everybody Loves Raymond and Bill Cosby, I didn't know he was a comedian when I watched the
show?
Huxtables.
You just thought he was a good dad?
I thought he was a good dad. I didn't know that much, but I knew that Seinfeld was, but only because he would have those clips.
You do stand up at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
And
but then when I moved to New
York. That made me want to move to New York.
This is the most embarrassing thing that I can say about stand up. I came to New York and one of my friends, who is not a comic, whoever I lived, like a friend of a friend.
Sure.
She's like, let's go see a comedy show. And I was like, what's that? And I went to a stand up show. And I was only here for acting, so I knew what performing was.
Sure.
But I watched, and I wish I remembered who was on the show. Fuck. I know it was New York Comedy Club back when Al owned it, because...
Let me tell you right now, what Emilio did to that club, what it used to be, it was a fight club.
Oh,
it was a fight club for words. You're like, I'm gonna go in here and I know I'm gonna get the shit kicked out of me.
And there'd be like a rat running across the stage.
But I might get a good punch off.
But you'll get a good...
If I can hit someone hard, I know I'm gonna get hit hard.
And there was that tiny room. There was like a bathroom where they performed.
That was my first set in New York. Was if you did the open mic at New York Comedy Club and you did well enough, you got to do a guest spot on the Latino show with that side room with the mirror in front of you, and all you could look to was the sides.
Yes.
I remember that clear as day.
But I went to a show on 24th Street. So we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And I watched whoever was on stage and I was like, totally did not know they wrote jokes. I thought they just talk like that.
Now, don't feel bad about that.
Really?
I loved comedy my whole life. I understood that there were jokes. I knew what jokes were. But there was a part of my brain, I started stand-up, my first open mic, I was like 20 or 21.
Yeah.
I thought you really went up there and just ranted.
Yeah.
I thought you went up there and were like, oh, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I really thought when someone went, this happened to me on the way here. My dumbass for the longest time thought something happened to him on the way there.
But and I
was the same.
Me too.
I was like, damn, this guy had a day.
And I was like, how can you be so funny? You're like this 24/7.
Yeah.
And then I was jealous. I was like, fuck you. What? I was so jealous. It was kind of like seeing a supermodel. Like, you would just see a model on a train and be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, you probably get up and look like that.
Yeah. You don't realize that she's had her finger down her throat since 6 in the morning getting out last night's dinner. And that she can't fucking...
But when you just think God gives you something on a platter, I thought that about comics. I was like, oh, you're just funny.
I think a lot of people...
Just funny.
I think one of the first people that... really dispelled that myth or like got rid of that myth was Michael Jordan, because when Michael Jordan was popular, when I was growing up, Michael Jordan was the man and he was playing and everyone was like, he's God's gift to basketball, which he was, but not until later, until he retired. And he was pretty vocal about it while he was playing, but it really got set in stone that he was like, I worked harder than everybody.
Yeah.
I just went nonstop and I was the first to show up, last leave. That kind of like mentality, it wasn't as forefront as it is now. Like everyone knows, like that guy probably works his ass off. That guy's probably constantly doing that. But when we were younger and growing up, there was this like, oh, that's just a God-given ability.
Right.
And you're just like blessed.
Yeah.
And and it's no effort.
No, and also like, if you watch everyone like Michael Jordan or the British soccer player, I just saw his documentary, Beckham.
Yeah.
Or even like the Williams sisters.
Yeah.
Like they all had like a parent who was like, get your fucking ass outside and you're doing this again. Like I grew up with like, you don't like tennis? Well, try swimming.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get anywhere.
My mom was like this, what? I go, I suck at this. She goes, okay.
Fine.
I want to play baseball. Yeah. It was always that. What? Okay. I'm bankrupt and trying to keep us in a home. And I'm like, I don't like baseball. She's like, yeah, fucking who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? It really is like, there's something about people that are so good at something that they make it look effortless.
Yeah.
You really question if it does more good than bad. Because you're like, there's a lot of us that are suicidal because it looks so easy. Right. I watch Nate Bargatze do stand-up.
Yeah.
And I go like, you just woke up and came up with that bit? And he's like, no, I ran that. Like, he builds it. But he builds it in a way that looks effortless.
But he looks like he never sucked.
I know.
Like
and I don't know if he really...
good.
I've watched... I mean, you remember The World at Broadway?
Oh my God, yes.
Trust me. I watched him. We all watched each other have bad ones in that room where you're like, there's nothing you can do. This is a black hole of momentum. Good luck.
But I loved that room because you could do anything.
Anything. I tried playing the piano one night.
Really?
I was bombing so hard for all those tourists from Times Square. I was like, I'm gonna let's see if I'm a piano act. That's how much they had me doubting myself. And there's a piano to the side. I go, fuck it. I'm gonna try to play the piano.
First and last piano act.
I was like, nope, not happening. Something from the special that I've wanted, because I'm like the opposite of you in this case, where you have a joke about your boyfriend's son and about how he doesn't like you and how you guys play World of Warcraft. I have done countless jokes about my mom dating my mom's boyfriends. I've done jokes about girls I've dated. It's never breached the subject of someone I love's kid. Did you tell the kid you were doing jokes about?
No.
Has he seen them?
No.
And
I told my boyfriend, because I did jokes about him on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend did this like blast to his family, like a text blast to his family.
Warning? He Paul revered him?
He was like,
the jokes are coming. The jokes are coming.
He's like, Carmen's on the Tonight Show tonight.
Don't worry.
I was like, why did you do that?
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon laughs at everything. Don't worry.
Yeah,
He doesn't even mean it.
I was like, what if he watches it? And they're not like, I don't think they're like super mean.
No,
right?
but they are like, here's the thing is, they are honest. And
they're honest.
And when you're honest, it's uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, I'm just hoping he never sees them.
He will.
He will one day.
He knows what you do, right?
He does, but we never talk about it.
14-year-old, he's 14. He's grown up on the internet.
Yeah.
He's going to find it. He's probably watching this. What's up, dude? Do good in school. Also,
we just went to Disney World and had a great time. So whatever happened on my special, please forgive me.
Do you remember by the log ride where I said you're a really cool kid and you were like, hey, I'm really glad my dad found you? Fucking keep that energy, kid.
No, but
keep that energy when you watch Queef Week.
In all honesty, I adore him. I really do. And I understand that only single kids.
Yeah, I'm an only child of divorce. We call ourselves OCs.
OCs?
Only children.
Only children. I have like an extra, like, it hurts my soul that they don't have a sibling.
Well, I had a half sister. It was my dad's from the first marriage.
Right.
But I was 1 through 10 completely alone, had heard rumors of her, heard whispers.
Yeah.
But finally my mom was like, your sister's got to be in your life. Like, you have a half sister. And immediately you're like, oh, this is why having a sibling's awesome.
Right.
Because you go like, hey, they're nuts. And they go, yeah, they're nuts.
They have someone to share with.
Yeah, my therapist called it confirming your reality. You have someone there to confirm your reality. To be like, hey, mom coming home drunk, that sucks, right? And they're like, mm-hmm. But when you're an only child, you go like...
You do it in the mirror.
Yeah, well, I started making drinks for her. Really? I was trying to find ways to jump the route. I was trying to find ways to be like, yeah, she's nuts when she walks in. I don't want to fucking deal with this. If I have a drink for her and I go up to my room and leave everyone alone and let them decompress, I won't be. You're like, as an only child, especially if you have a parent that drinks too much, you kind of find this way of like, how do I take myself out of danger? How do I take myself out of any like that? And when you're an only child, you're very creative. Because your brain is unchecked. There's no governor. There's no brother or sister there to be like, you're fucking weird. You just be weird.
You came out so normal.
Sure.
I mean, pretty sane for an only child.
I mean, I had I've got addictions. I've got a lot of shit that's not like, I've been in therapy for 12 or 13 years now.
Yeah, same.
And that's why I say it's mandatory.
Oh, yeah.
If that would have gone unchecked, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. I know we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
But the other thing about being an only child is selfishly, I spend less time with my boyfriend because he's got to spend time with his kids. So if there was another kid, we could be like, you two go play.
Oh, absolutely.
While we hang out.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like, but that's also, that means you've picked a good man. Because there's a lot of only children whose dad's girlfriends are like, yeah, fuck that kid. And the dad's like,
he is
right?
A good man. Yeah.
He's like, Charlotte really showed me that the pussy above family. Oh, mom, I can't wait for you to meet her the way she...
Do you still have those letters?
Yeah, it's at my grandma's. I'll get it.
I'll
have you back on and we'll read letters to each other.
Please, I got to find the letters.
You know what? I felt embarrassed for my dad, but then after me and Lisa, my cousin, were making jokes on the drive home, being like, "Oh, if Charlotte was here, I gotta find what the name is." Because, dude, it's embarrassing.
Oh my God.
It's like the generation after us. We're not having kids, so I don't have to worry about this. But like my friends' kids are gonna be able to access their emails. They're like,
oh yeah,
they're gonna find sexts. They're gonna find like crazy shit.
Yeah.
No way. No thanks. I'm glad that
no kids here.
Yeah, you don't want to find. Imagine if you would have found, like, imagine this is 50 years from now, and you find your dad's Snapchat to your mom.
Ew.
Where she's like, "¿Qué onda?" And it's just him being like, like him
First
naked
of all,
in the boat.
That would never happen. It would never. My dad would never.
And he's like, hey, I got a cruise missile for you. And it's like him naked on this shit.
I know everyone thinks a military man is like that, but I can definitely say
you're telling me they're on a ship.
My father is not.
Mike was a horny boy.
Mike would not show his missile to Montserrat.
He absolutely did. He showed his tomahawk. He let him know. He let him know what there's. Dude, I'm telling you right now. Here's the thing, and I think every guy in the military is horny. I think the level of Navy horny is more
because he was on a submarine for a long time.
I mean, trapped,
and he's tall. Like, how hard is that to be on a submarine? What are you, 6'2"?
Yeah,
he was 6'2".
I was 6'3". Yeah.
Okay, so picture yourself in a submarine.
And my hips are hurting.
And you gotta jerk it.
But if I had that sweet Spanish peach, my little Catalonia bag.
Hola, señorita, soy Montserrat.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
Esta Miguel.
They were letting him out of that iron tube, and he was just cranking it to your mom. It was just to a letter. A letter he didn't even understand. He's like, fuck,
I
don't even fucking know what this means. God damn, all these squiggly lines are gonna make me blow.
That's so romantic. Our next Hallmark movie.
Yeah, dude, that's so fucking funny. I'm so intrigued by your parents falling in love without being able to communicate.
It's crazy.
Caveman love. They have legit caveman love.
It's caveman love.
Like, meh. And they're like, meh. Yeah, and he never learned.
I mean, he can understand it now.
So when you guys are talking shit about him,
now he could probably understand. So my sister and I use code. We'll like break words into like half words. Like,
does your mom know? If you and your sister are doing that, or your mom, like, don't talk about your dad like that.
They're too old to like understand.
Got it.
You know when they're just too tired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Past 73.
Yeah.
I really think that's the age.
They're 80. They don't.
Post 73, they're zapped.
Yeah.
My mom just wants to do what needs to be done and sit down and have a drink.
That's all they care about is Advil and their meds.
Sitting down and
Fox
making
News.
this noise. I just want to sit down and go like, fuck, I'm old.
Yeah.
But I get it. But that's fucking crazy. That's very interesting. I've never met someone whose parents could not communicate. And how long have they been together? Like, what is it?
It's been over 50 years. Yeah.
That's massive.
Yeah, it's a long ass time.
When your parents are married that long, this is just coming from an OC.
Yeah.
COD, child of divorce. I'm an OC.
I'm an OC. These.
Your dad
Only
will know with all these
divorce.
acronyms because of his military background. I'm an OC COD. Do you or your sister feel pressure to have a relationship that lasts that long?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It was pressure to find true love because I did think that this was like Cinderella. Like, I believed Cinderella.
Well, and the way they tell it to you, when your parents are telling you that, you think this is just how everything is.
And then you hear your friends go, your parents did what?
Yeah.
That's so romantic. And then you go as a little girl go, it is.
Yeah, it's a fairy tale.
I gotta find me a guy like that.
Yeah. My fairy tale when I was a kid, I was like, wow, so every kid gets to pick which parent they want to live with in court? I get to go.
See, there is something really cool about having two Christmases.
Yeah, if both parents are in your life, it is.
Yeah.
The people keep bringing up two Christmases. The whole point of two Christmases is both parents have to be active in your life.
That's true.
If one is not talking to you, there ain't no Christmas. It's another missed holiday.
Yeah. No, but I did think that it was easy to fall in love and quickly.
Yeah.
Because of what I had heard about them.
Have you been married before?
No.
Okay. That was going to be a question.
I went the opposite way. I was like, I don't want to get married.
Because I wonder, I think a lot of people in that situation would be like, rush into a marriage and be like, no, then it just works. You just work it out.
Well, the weird thing is my sister.
Now work it out.
My sister did exactly what my parents did. So she met a guy overseas. So instead of like a Spanish woman, an American guy.
Just a Russian that can't speak English. She's like, and she goes, come to America.
But she did the same thing, fell in love with a Spanish guy.
Really?
But now the difference is my sister was fluent in both languages. There's email. There's flights all the time.
Yeah.
So my mother freaked out when my sister did it. She
didn't
goes,
like it?
No.
Really?
She's like,
even her own countrymen.
She goes, do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Spanish men are tenacious lovers.
And I go, Mom, tell us. What happened? What, it wasn't a fairy tale after all? Tell us.
Oh, she goes, the Spanish men, they pinch your butt and you need to run away.
She's like, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. You will never see your family again.
That's what I mean with when you get to those letters, you're going to see some real shit. Because your parents, what we were talking about with our parents being older, they hold stuff down.
Yeah.
Your mom had to leave her home.
Her home. With a guy she barely knew.
With Mike.
And she said, I'm lucky it worked out. It could have been really bad, Carmen. And I was like, ew.
Which means there were trials and tribulations. But your mom made it happen. God, the grit of that generation. We would lose a world war.
Yeah.
Our generation would absolutely lose a world. If China and Iran, if it turns up to be World War III, us versus them, we're going to get fucking rolled. Because we're going to be like, but I feel like you guys are being mean. And back then they're like, so you must go with this man on his Navy ship to America and then just make it work.
Okay. But you had to, like, what is a nurse going to do? Like,
and it worked out. You know, they got 2 kids out of it. One of them's a comedian. They learned about that real quick.
And then the other one left as quickly as she possibly could.
Got a Spanish man.
With a Spanish man. And now she's going through, I can't believe I can't see mom and dad a lot. I feel guilty.
Is she in Spain?
Oh, yeah. She married my same thing. It literally was the same thing.
Wait, really? So she went over there?
She went over there. It was exactly the same story. But you're talking now about someone who's fluent.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Emails.
I don't care. Let's talk about the fact that Spain as a country was like, you take her, but give us one back. And then they're like, okay. And then they got it back, and now they're like, we're square.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I didn't know your sister lives in Spain.
And now she's got the whole guilt thing because she's going through what my mom went through. When my mom's mom got sick in her 80s.
And your mom is here.
And my mom is here.
Did she go back?
Very hard. Yeah, but I mean...
It's big travel.
It's a big travel. So now my sister coming here is going through that.
Is your mom sick?
I mean, they're old. They're like...
Older.
And
are they in California still?
They're in Virginia.
Okay, easier travel. Because I'm thinking, I mean, imagine how hard that is to go to California all the way to Spain.
Oh my God, no.
You're like, you got to cross a country, a giant country and an ocean?
And an ocean, no.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, but still...
I think you need to hire him when you guys get the letters and you need to go to that storage facility. I want to see that.
Read them.
I want to see the unboxing.
Yeah.
I want to see all of it. I want to see how the fuck your dad got your mom to come to America off not knowing your language. I find that fascinating.
Yeah.
That's the pull of the century.
With no Snapchat.
Mr. Lynch, you're pimp of the century.
Montserrat, you're hot.
And name I can never say, you are top 3 percentile hot in Spain. You are, but you know what? They got your daughter. So really it was a trade.
And here I am.
Yeah. And then the American one's like, you guys want to talk about pussy farts?
And 20 years of therapy.
Yeah. Queef Week is available now on YouTube. Go follow Carmen Lynch on all social media, Twitter, Instagram. You've been around the whole time I've been here. You've been nothing but awesome to hang out with.
Thank you.
Talk to.
You're the best.
I appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Can I just yell out my Instagram?
Yeah.
At Carmen Comedian. And Queef Week is on Mark Norman's YouTube. And you know how you say Queef Week in Spanish?
How?
Somebody told me because they don't have the word queef.
I bet.
It's pedo vaginal. La semana del pedo vaginal.
That's insane.
Too much. That's too long.
It's like 8 words for just 2.
La semana del pedo vaginal on Mark Norman's YouTube channel.
You're listening to Queef Week. Remember how they used to do on rap things? It's Maybach music. That's yours. It's Queef Week. Check it out. You're hilarious, and thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.